This intense and passionate new moon happening 20 degrees Sagittarius, featuring a conjunction with Mars at the karmic 13th degree, wants you to get curious and stay optimistic about the future. This Sagittarius new moon is the spark that ignites our final Mercury retrograde of 2023, which begins just hours after the new moon. This final Mercury retrograde of 2023 begins exactly where it left off in early January 2023 at 8 degrees Capricorn. That's right, 2023 both began and ended with a Mercury retrograde at 8 degrees Capricorn. Mercury picks up exactly where it previously left off, eventually covering each and every 360 degrees of the zodiac. Mercury retrograde that begins 8 degrees Capricorn ends in mutable fire sign Sagittarius, kickstarting a series of Mercury retrogrades through fire signs in 2024, which will be all about turning dreams into reality. We began and ended 2023 with a Mercury retrograde at precisely 8 degrees Capricorn, with the start of this Mercury retrograde coinciding with the lunar phase that's associated with action, assertion, ambition, and new beginnings, the new moon. New moons feature an alignment of who we already are, represented by the moon, and who our soul longs to be, represented by the sun, which is why they are so great for planting seeds of intention. The emotions and feelings of the moon are working in harmony with the ego, identity, and individuality of the sun. This new moon, 20 degrees Sagittarius, features a conjunction with the planet of war and aggression, Mars, which rules over things like our collective motivation and drive, the outward expression of our energy. Mars is our yang, masculine, or pursuing energy. It's the energy we embody when we go after what we want. At 13 degrees, Mars carries an extra Aries charge, focused on preserving its personal freedoms, autonomy, and independence. In the second decan of Sagittarius, it is sub-ruled by Mars. So stay positive and get excited, because this new moon is all about affecting change. The seeds of change and intention we're planting under the Sagittarius new moon happening on the 12/12 portal will manifest under the corresponding full moon in Sagittarius on May 23rd, 2024, as we prepare for the next year's cycle, Jupiter in Gemini. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which wants to expand, inspire, and explore. Encouraged to embrace optimism, with Jupiter weakened answering to a fallen Venus in Scorpio, which is experiencing drama and intensity when it comes to love and finances. Sagittarius's most likable trait is its optimism, making it naturally fun to be around. It stays focused on the big picture, and it doesn't get too tangled in the weeds of overthink or worry. Because it doesn't take obstacles or setbacks personally, it's a luck magnet, always focused with gratitude on the lesson, not the mistake, and finding the silver lining in every cloud. Even in the face of difficult circumstances, Sagittarius attracts opportunity and luck in a strong, deep inner knowing, trusting that their lucky break is just around the corner. Sagittarius is driven by an underlying passion for freedom, justice, self-mastery, and independence. It's especially passionate about freedoms of self-expression, such as freedom of speech, as it relates to censorship and the media's influence on the collective, and freedom of movement, especially as it relates to travel, aviation, immigration, and border issues that we may see come to the limelight over the next few weeks. Sagittarius is a mutable or adaptable fire sign. It has the deepest of wanderlust that longs to expand its horizons by learning from the perspective of others, whose backgrounds and unique perspectives differ from our own. In shadow, Sagittarius can lack staying power, fearing the perceived entrapment of commitment, causing it to run or flee. Sagittarius, especially in the third decan, sub-ruled by the sun, is a born charmer, entertainer, and leader. It has natural gifts for writing and storytelling. At 20 degrees degrees, this is a Scorpio degree, indicating depth, intensity, and the need for change or deep personal transformation. Connections to Pluto, which is 28 degrees Capricorn, and Mercury Retrograde through Capricorn, bringing an opportunity for deep career and long-term goal reflection. 20 degrees Sagittarius is right on the cusp between the second and third decans of Sagittarius, which is all about intuition, creating our own reality by keeping a positive mindset toward the future. We're triumphing over self-limiting patterns that keep us in shadow or lower frequencies, and stepping into this personal empowerment by taking control of our mindset. The symbol for this would round up to 21 degrees, for which is a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses, which talks to lending perspective and the power in keeping an objective or detached approach, slowing down to speed up, focusing on one thing at a time, and being careful not to miss the obvious. The new moon in Sagittarius always involves Sagittarian themes, which include seeking wisdom, knowledge, and truth, embracing optimism, cultivating a spirit of adventure as we take a new approach or perspective, planting seeds of intention for personal growth. We're stepping up as leaders, parents, or light workers. We're taking something that we're learning into mastery. The Sagittarius New Moon's ruler, Jupiter, retrograde in the early degrees of Taurus until December 30th, answering to a weakened Venus debilitated in Scorpio. We'll see many Jupiter in Taurus, opposite is depositor Venus in Scorpio, themes sprinkled throughout, embodying patience, presence, and self-confidence, attracting versus chasing, financial security and stability, with stability being a natural state maintained by allowing resources to flow naturally out as well as in. This is reflecting Jupiter retrograde through Taurus, which is a deep reflection on our values, our self-worth, our confidence, and our ability to provide resources for ourselves and others, which directly fuels our confidence. Jupiter retrograde in the early degrees of Taurus is involved in a grand Earth trine with Mercury retrograde in the early degrees of Capricorn, which is expanding or opening our minds and asking for a deep slowdown, pause, and reflection. Many in the collective may be experiencing a change of mind or change of heart and making a pivot in what they do for their career or long-term goals. With Jupiter in Venus-ruled Taurus from May 2023 to May 2024, Jupiter and Venus are working in tandem. Let's dive into the aspects. December 6th, Neptune stationed direct 24 degrees Pisces, which is very prominent, especially in the first half of December 2023. December 13th, Mercury stationed retrograde, 8 degrees Capricorn. December 30th, Jupiter stations direct, 5 degrees Taurus, which is very prominent the second half of December and into the new year, January 2024. With those aspects to Neptune. Neptune stationed direct, December 6th, 24 degrees Pisces. This is a return to the energies of late January and February of 2023. Neptune in its sign of rulership is strong, especially in the third and final decan of Pisces, and especially at 24 degrees, the degree point associated with Piscean energy. And final decan of Pisces is subruled by Pluto, and we have Neptune and Pluto in a long-term sextile to one another, meaning that the two are working together. This is a deeply psychic and intuitive transit, helping to dissolve any shadow Capricorn patterns of power plays, manipulations, and mass delusion or illusion as we prepare to build the foundation for a new earth. At 28 degrees, this is the millionaire's degree, the degree of the household name. So we're exposing corruption and misuse in power very publicly. Neptune stays at this 24 degree point until the end of the month under the full moon in Cancer on Boxing Day, December 26th, 2023. Involving Neptune in rulership, especially at 24 degrees, can bring confusion and a lack of clarity. but by February 2023, the veil will be pulled back on our mass illusions and delusions, especially as they relate to the economy. We are on the brink of a Mercury retrograde, one that involves a change of signs, which is symbolic of a change of mind or heart and a change in direction. This Mercury retrograde features several squares between Mercury weakened in the late degrees of Sagittarius and a very strong Neptune in the late degrees of Pisces. Mutable square. And whenever there's a mutable square, it indicates that there is a need to adapt to changing circumstances. We have mutable fire squaring off against mutable water. We're learning that it's not that deep. Expectation, aka attachment to outcome, is the root of all heartache. Shakespeare. Mercury stationing retrograde 8 degrees Capricorn. Mercury in Capricorn has high expectations for self and others, which can project outwards as criticism and being overly nitpicky or perfectionistic. This Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, we're focused on removing blocks and limitations affecting our approach to abundance, especially as it relates to our long-term plans, careers, or public image. With Mercury retrograde stationing direct 22 degrees Sagittarius in early January, after having regained inspiration and strength after the winter solstice with the Mercury Cazimi reprogramming, this is reconnecting us to our deeper passions, our why, behind why we do what we do. This is also bringing in options. The more optimistic we are, the more likely we are to recognize the options when they come in. We fast forward to next year, December 2024. The final Mercury retrograde of 2024 will pick up precisely where we leave off on January 1st, 2024, at 22 degrees Sagittarius. This time around, a more trusting and intuitive Mercury is ready to surrender to flow and release all perceived sense of control it has over anything outside of its own mindset. Now for the aspects involving Sagittarius's ruler, Jupiter. With Jupiter in Taurus answering to a weakened, debilitated Venus in Scorpio, struggling to overcome a lack mentality, blocks to its ability to attract and receive love, abundance, and opportunity when it comes knocking. Jupiter is involved in a grand Earth trine with Black Moon Lilith, 7 degrees Virgo, and trine this Mercury about to retrograde 8 degrees Capricorn. Jupiter also retrograde 6 degrees Taurus. This is bringing big thinking and a big change of mind or direction after a period of deep reflection. Black Moon Lilith in Virgo here is all about our patterns of self-disempowerment, self-sabotage, where allowing things like overthink or worry manifest as a negative outcome. With Venus opposite Jupiter, there may be some sort of collective financial crisis. Collectively, we're deciding where to go without, as we face record high inflation and a record number of defaults on auto and home loans and credit cards too. Jupiter opposite its debilitated ruler, Venus in Scorpio, doesn't have access to the resources it needs to feel secure and stable, which can lead to it becoming obsessive and possessive. It has patterns and a tendency to self-sabotage because it's a fixed water sign. It has a hard time letting go. Because it has a hard time letting go, it can hold on to negative emotions longer than is healthy and manifest a negative reality. With Venus opposite Jupiter, this represents a tendency to work against the self. And Scorpio is prone to drama and intensity, especially in the areas of love and finance. And Venus in Scorpio will face another challenging opposition to Uranus, which throws curveballs to love and finance and our jobs under the winter solstice on 12/21. On the plus side, Venus in Scorpio indicates that we will be rewarded for having a willingness to explore beneath the surface as we confront hidden or intense emotions and learn to transmute them. Venus in Scorpio helps us identify the karmic patterns and paradigms so that we can effect change.